This is an introductory presentation to Teach to One, titled Personalized Learning for Every Student Every Day. This presentation was delivered to students, staff, and some parents on Tuesday, October 22nd, 2019. What problem is Teach to One trying to solve? I'd like you to imagine yourself, you're a teacher in sixth grade who has been teaching sixth grade, and you're delivering a test to see where your child are at in their learning. This is what some of the results might look like. Some students would be above grade level, such as demonstrating understanding at the 8th or 7th grade level. You would see that some students are on grade level, but you would also see in your results that some students are 1, 2, 3, or even more grade levels below level in sixth grade. This poses a challenge to you as a teacher to meet the differing needs of each student in your class. Teach to One is a holistic learning model that builds mathematical fluency and habits for lifelong success. They look at operations, technology and data, and academic design to see how they can support math differently. They'll look at how students are scheduled. They'll look at how the space is used. They'll look at how technology and data is used to support learning. They'll look at assessment and also how the curriculum adapts itself to each child's needs. Like you'd imagine yourself, if you're a student in sixth grade, you go to first period RELA, you go to second period, which is PE, but then you go to third period, which is math. Well, in Teach to One, what you would do is you would walk up to the big board. And the big board is kind of like one of those boards in an airport with arrivals and departures. As a student, you would walk up to the big board and you would see for that day, which discrete mathematics skill would you be learning, and then in which modality or setting you would be learning that skill. In many Teach to One schools, you will see a setting such as this, which each of the different modalities are provided under a larger space. But Teach to One can also be effectively done in a traditional school with separate classrooms. But in the discrete skills, that big board may tell you that you're going to be learning in a small group with a teacher. You may see on the big board that one of the modalities is you're going to learn in a peer-to-peer model doing an activity. You may also be doing online learning independently, or maybe you can receive the support of a peer. Or you may receive introductory learning in a large group setting, just like traditionally, where a teacher is introducing a skill to a large group of students. Or you can be in individual practice. You would go through one modality, learning that skill for 35 minutes. Then you would go to a second modality with that same skill, learning that for about 30 to 35 minutes. And after about that 60 or 70 minutes, you would do a short assessment to measure your level of understanding for that particular discrete skill. Then that evening, it would recalculate based on algorithms to determine your level of understanding and propose a new schedule for the next day. And then you move on to your fourth period class. What is Teach to One? Teach to One is a school-based model that enables teachers to personalize what, how, when, and where each student learns. You may hear this in the form of varying the time, place, path, and pace of learning for our students. And during this presentation, we'll briefly go through each one of these. Personalizing what students learn. We understand that mathematics can be a longitudinal but also interconnected set of skills that students learn. And what Teach to One has done has created a skill map, taken the TEKS, which is a group of standards, but broken those standards down to discrete skills, and then providing individual lessons on each one of those discrete skills. And in that skill map, Teach to One has drawn connections between those skills so that as students are making progressions through math, they are learning skills that are prerequisites to future skills. Teach to One also does frequent diagnostic assessments to identify where a child is at so they can receive learning exactly where they are in need. And this will be referenced a little bit more in the future, but each child has a personalized curriculum specific to each child's individual needs. Some students will be on a certain grade level in number and operations, while they may be at a slightly different grade level in their understanding of geometry. This is a personalized curriculum. Green represents level of mastery. Red would represent lacking mastery. White would means they have not been introduced to that skill yet. And these different symbols have varying meanings based on their modalities or their level of learning. But each child individually has a personalized curriculum. Teach to One in their math leadership and expert teams have reviewed and assessed more than 80,000 math lessons from leading digital and print publishers to identify the best of those lessons. And what Teach to One has found is over 7,000 of the best lessons that can be best utilized in one of the different modalities to provide specific support for each child individually. Essentially, there is 30 to 40 quality lessons for each individual discrete skill. Where there were gaps, the Teach to One team has created over 2,000 additional lessons to make sure that we have quality lessons for each one of those skills. These lessons are provided to students, and Teach to One algorithms measure which forms of learning, which digital programs are meeting the best needs of our students so that students can receive additional content in that same digital publisher because it has been effective in the past. Teach to One personalizes how students learn as well. I've been using the word modalities. It's a personalized instructional approach for every student. Some students will learn through a teacher-led modality, which could include live investigation, tasks, which is Teach to One's form of project-based learning, or math advisory. Or students may learn best in student collaboration, in small group collaboration, or in a peer-to-peer setting. Or students may learn best in a more independent modality, which could include virtual instruction, virtual reinforcement, or independent practice. Teach to One is personalizing when students learn. As you can see, I want you to imagine this being a group of students in a class that are receiving a diagnostic exam. It may show after that diagnostic exam that a large group of students need additional support in a particular type of skill, while other students may not need support in that prerequisite skill, but are ready for higher levels of skills than the prerequisite. As you can see, the diagnostic may show that some students are ready to go beyond the prerequisite skills to a higher level of skill, maybe because these students are above grade level. So the technology uses the data to personalize the curriculum for each individual child. So if we go over here, each student receives a customized daily schedule based on their personalized curriculum. Teachers work with groups of students with common learning needs, exactly where the student is ready to learn, and students advance to a new skill once they have demonstrated proficiency. Teach to One is personalizing where students learn. Teach to One has reimagined the classroom. And as I mentioned before, we won't speak about this one too much because AMS has a more traditional classroom environment. In the